Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Roll, shooting opportunity. Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, it's that goal! Good afternoon, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Welcome back from the international break. It is club football all the way until March now, and finally we have a little bit of clarity in terms of the immediate future of this football club, and that's because Steve Morison, of course, has been handed the reins until the end of the season and ably supported by assistant manager Tom Ramsett, and also returning Cardiff City captain Mark Hudson, who we welcome back into the coaching fold this time. And I'm delighted to say we've got a packed show this afternoon ahead of today's trip to Preston, and we will hear from all three men ahead of kickoff, along with two players in the form of Perry G and Ryan Giles. So no real time for me to natter at you. All I've got left before we hear from the manager and Perry G is to just give you the quick team news ahead of this afternoon's 3 p.m. kickoff, and it's a surprising one to say the least. So a couple of Cardiff players drop out that we weren't expecting. Kiefer Moore not in the starting lineup, has picked up a knock seemingly on Welsh duty, and also Joe Rawls picked up a knock seemingly also, so not involved this afternoon. So it's an experimental and youthful Cardiff 11 to say the least, which sees Chanka Zimba come in to play through the middle of a front line that also involves Isaac Davis and Ruben Colwell, two obviously young prodigies at this football club, and as we're going to hear from Tom Ramsett later on, two players who he had in his under-11s team when he first started his coaching career here with the Bluebirds. Elsewhere, Will Vaux comes in to the centre of midfield to replace Joe Rawls and partners captain for the afternoon, Marlon Pack. There's no place for club captain Sean Morison either. Aidan Flint keeps his place in the back three alongside Mark McGuinness and Curtis Nelson, and we also retain Ryan Giles and Perry G in the wing back positions. Also, Tom Sang is fit again for the matchday squad once more. That is a huge boon for the Cardiff team, not just for this afternoon, but looking forward for the rest of the season. And Alex Smithies, who has been in fine form of late, retains his position in goal. So let's not waste no more time. Let's hear from newly installed Cardiff manager Steve Morison and also Perry G.
Football club's huge. Needs to get back to where it should be. And from a personal point of view, I know people will never believe you, but you can't plan for stuff like this in terms of like knowing exactly when that's going to happen. You just have to be ready and prepared if it does happen. And I said I did all of my coaching via the FAW, and I can't be any more qualified. The only thing I suppose against me was that I haven't had experience as a manager in a league team. So there's one blip on it, but as I said, you've got to start somewhere, and hopefully it's the start of a really, really good journey. And on that journey is Cardiff at the starting point, and hopefully we can do some really good things with Cardiff City.
Yeah, I think we're all over the moon and excited. I think it was important we got someone in who knew the club and had been here, watching us over the past few games, because they can really see what's going wrong and they can try and change that. So I think we're all excited and buzzing with the news. My
mindset is, can we get better? Can we get better all the time? Whether that's in one facet of the game or whether that's in loads of the facets of the game. Like, can we be better? And if we give the effort that we've given and perform as a minimum in the game in the way we have in those games. Us QPR games, we lost the game, but we were so much the better team. Huddersfield, you take that sloppy goal out at the start, and 5 minutes before half time, we was the better team. So can we continue to be the better team? And when you got your main goal threat, putting the ball in the back of the net, then hopefully it bodes well for us going forward. And we start at Preston on Saturday.
it's vital. I think, especially with the position we're in at the minute, and they're down there as well. Two similar formations, so I think it'll be a good game, and hopefully we can go there with a big following, and hopefully get the 3 points.
I did my homework, and there was someone that I was really interested in speaking to, so I made contact with Mark, and he was so keen to get involved. So I put it to the board, and the board were unanimous in agreeing that it's a really good appointment, and it's something that was really beneficial for the football club. So again, I thank them hugely for allowing me to do that and having the trust in me to find the right person. And I said I could have gone and got anyone. I could have gone and got one of my mates if I wanted to, but that's not what's right for me. That's not what's right from the football club, and that's what it's all about. So they were fully supportive, and then they had their conversations with Mark to make sure that he was aligned to what we wanted to do. And as I say, Monday morning, was good to go and ready to go as a team. And that's exactly what it is. It's a team. It's a team. The only difference is I have to sit here and chat to you guys.
Well, Ryan, back in training after international break, and looked like you were enjoying yourselves down there with those crosses.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to be back. Like I say, it's good to have all the group back together as well. And we just look forward to Saturday now.
So we've seen you in the last few games under the new manager and the new setup, and dare I say, look like you're enjoying your football a little bit more.
So I was enjoying football all the way through since I've joined Cardiff City. I think it's been my experience definitely so far as an individual has been great. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not nice when you're losing, but I wouldn't stand here and say I wasn't enjoying myself for sure. I think I enjoy every game I play in. We've got to embrace it, and like you say, I think Morrow and Rammers coming in, they've done a great job so far. So yeah, I think and it's nice to get a result on the board on the back of the last game. So yeah.
How good was that Huddersfield game? Last minute winner in front of the Campton end.
Oh, it's brilliant. I think that's what it's about in football. Do you know what I mean? With the fans, it was great for them, and I think they sort of need that as well as us, to be honest. I think we need it as well. So yeah, I think it was brilliant, and to get it in that sort of fashion that's what you dream of, isn't it, when you play football. So yeah.
What's it like working with the new coaching setup? A very different regime, but what are the sort of things they're encouraging you boys to do? I get the sense, play the ball at feet a bit more and express yourself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it's. I think we've just got to be brave on the ball. I think we are trying to play out from the back. We're trying to get some more control on the ball, and I think we've been doing it well. I think it's a stepping stone. It's not just going to happen overnight, but I think from what we've shown in games so far, I think we've done it really well, and I think it's like I say, we've just got to keep building on that now, and with them positive performance come results.
Long trip to Preston now on the weekend. It's a massive game, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a game that I think we've got to look at that we can win. We've got to go there full of confidence, especially off the back of a win. So all the boys have been away at international, and we've all had a good rest. So we've come back together, and we kick on now and get ready for that game on the weekend.
Well, welcome back. you got an extra bonus. Ryan Giles there, speaking ahead of this afternoon's game with Preston. Now, hopefully, what I should have on the line is my colleague John Donovan to speak to ahead of this afternoon's game with Preston. I'm hoping this works. John, can you hear me?
I can. Ash, can you hear me?
Fantastic. Yeah, there we go. We'll make it work. It's not exactly as we intended. You're not coming through my ears, but I can hear you. So, John, it's a new era, another dawning of a new era at Cardiff City going into this week. But why does this particularly feel a little bit different?
First of all, Ash, it feels a little bit different because I've got hat hair from just coming in from a dog walk, so I apologise for not being fully prepared for this. I think it feels a bit different because the team and club and fans feel quite united as one. Dare I say it, more so since the days of Neil Warnock when he came in and galvanised the fan base. I think the form of the under-23s this year, last year as well, and not just that, the style in which they've played has significantly risen the stock of Steve Morrison and Tom Ramsett, of course. So there was a whole enthusiasm regarding that. And, you know, that in a small sample size carried on to the 3 games that we saw against Stoke, QPR, and then Huddersfield. I actually thought we were the best, or the best performance of the 3 Steve Morrison interim games was the defeat against QPR. Who am I to argue with the new manager when he says we were the better team against Huddersfield? I thought Huddersfield could have been 2 or 3 goals ahead prior to that fantastic last 20 minutes. But credit to the Bluebirds for sticking with it, Ash, and obviously that was a real Royal Rovers finish. But I think the feel-good factor is back because there's a coach in charge, or a coaching team in charge, and let's not forget Mark Hudson, who obviously want to play a particular style of football that hasn't necessarily been Cardiff City's way over the last few years. I think the under-23 record and whoever's watched that and seen it, they've been impressed by it. But I think there's going to be some growing pains with this, Ash, because I just don't think you can come in and implement a completely new style of football with a squad that's perhaps being constructed by other managers with a different philosophy. So whilst I'm pleased for Steve Morrison, whilst I'm optimistic, I'm still of the mind there are going to be some growing pains.
You're right, don't you, in terms of how we're going to have to construct this, the makeup of this team, and it's being tested on day one, because if you look at the starting lineup today, he's having to put trust in the players that he has done and have served him well in the under-23 setup because they've had a fantastic start of the season. You know, Cardiff fans are rightly enthused and energetic about what they've seen from these youngsters, but playing in the under-23s and then having to throw them into the championship limelight and asking them to perform is quite something else. And it's a front 3 this afternoon of Ruben Colwell, Isaac Davis and Chankazimba, and that is a huge test this afternoon for a young trio at a ground that's always a difficult place to play at Deepdale.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And of course, with the form that Kiefer Moore has been in the last few games, particularly on Tuesday night when he was outstanding leading the line against Belgium, that's a body blow. And it's a body blow that, I didn't expect. And you add Joe Rulls to that, who just gave Cardiff City's midfield a new lease of life against Huddersfield. That's 2 big personalities missing from this lineup. I think if you were asking this front 3 and these youngsters to play 6 or 7 games on the trot, hopefully it won't come to that, but if you were asking them to play 6 or 7 games on the trot, it might be more of an issue, more of a problem. I think if you can just do it for a game or 2, there's a certain element of no fear. These players haven't been tarnished by the losing run that saw the end of the Mick McCarthy era. In fact, they've been used to winning games in the under-23s, and most importantly for Chankazimba. And while I'm really pleased for him today, he knows how to score goals, and he has been scoring goals. And maybe now you don't, in modern day football, quite get the you've got to win the shirt mentality that perhaps you used to get 80s, 90s, etc. And before that, sometimes reputations go before players. I think Chankazimba has been knocking on the door, even if it was Mick McCarthy still in charge, to say, I deserve a shot. Of course, Kiefer Moore would have got the start, but with Kiefer Moore out, I'm excited to see Chankazimba. And as I say again, Ash, rather ineloquently, if it was a 6 or 7 game run, I'd have my fears. But for 1 or 2 games, I think these guys can play with no fear. They don't know anything different. All they know is playing good football, winning football in the under-23s. And that just might be enough to carry them through these, certainly through today.
Just a bit of clarification as well, guys, ahead of game. I've had confirmation that Kiefer Moore has picked up a knock in that Welsh setup, or the game on Tuesday night, which is why he's not involved. Joe Rawls, it's an illness issue, not COVID related, but it's an illness issue as to why he's had to drop out quite last minute, seemingly, ahead of today's game as well. So that's the change there. Finally then, John, from me, what are you, in terms of what we've said about the difficulty in changing things so quickly, and we have seen, actually, haven't we, a fundamental change in direction from what Steve Morison wants to see from his team in the 3 games in interim charge. What are you just hoping for in the short term here this afternoon in a tricky away game? What are you hoping to see from the new setup?
Well, Ash, I've said on commentary, and I've also apologised, to Cardiff City fans for many things, but particularly if I'm being a merchant of doom. My ambition now this season is to avoid relegation and to see a blueprint, a template for moving forward. So short, medium, long term, for the duration of Steve Morison's reign, which is at the moment till the end of the season, that is my goal. And again, the sample size of the 3 games suggested to me we could achieve that. I think we can, with point deductions coming in, we've got a head start anyway. But I think we have a better team than 7 or 8 teams in this division. Maybe.
Apologies there. We seem to have lost my colleague, John Donovan, frozen on the screen behind me, as you can see, momentarily. So let's throw over to what I was alluding to ahead of speaking to John there, and that we are going to hear from another 2 members of the players and coaching staff this afternoon before kick-off. First of them is Tom Ramasut, a Cardiff fan, now assistant manager at Cardiff City, and he's had quite an interesting path to the current job as well. And we're also going to hear from returning former club captain Mark Hudson, who was quick to pick up the call from Steve Morison and join this new look Cardiff coaching staff ahead of this afternoon's game with Preston, which will be live on Cardiff City TV, the other side of these 2 interviews.
Well, Tom, it's fair to say there's some smiles on faces down here, and that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, really important. I mean, I feel like it's exciting times for everyone. It's exciting times for us as the coaches, as a staff. It's an exciting time for the players, exciting time for all the staff in the whole club. And most importantly, hopefully it's a really exciting time for all the fans.
One of the best pieces of video that we saw after the Huddersfield game was the hard campaigning down to the touchline and seeing the celebrations there.
Yeah,
it meant a lot to you guys, didn't it?
Yeah, it certainly did. It was a whirlwind of a couple of weeks, and that week in particular, coming back from 3-0 down at Stoke. That was our first game in charge, so a lot of emotions there, and we had to settle down very quickly. As soon as we were on the coach on the way back, we're prepping for the QPR game. Yeah, I think it showed from the players, from the fans, and obviously the staff on the side, how much that meant to us all, and how much we'd all worked together to get that result at the end of the week.
You mentioned the fans there, just what a great noise that was. We need a bit more of that in the Camden End, don't we?
Yeah, unbelievable. And for me personally, I've been at the club nearly 9 years now. My first age group, you see Ruben behind there. When I did the under-11s, he was in my group under 11s. So it was Ruben, it was Isaac, and it was Kieran Evans. Yeah. So when that did happen in the last minute, that's Isaac and Ruben, and obviously myself involved as well. Yeah, very, very proud to sort of be a Cardiff, I suppose, involved in the first team, but from Cardiff fan point of view as well. You know, I've been on a Bob Bank since I was young, since I was sort of 11, 12. So it was, I don't know how you say it, but a lot of the emotion came out at that point in terms of it was from a fan, but also from a staff point of view as well.
Mark, welcome back to Cardiff City. You must be delighted to be back here.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. Obviously, when this conversation started to happen, it was something that I would never turn down. Look forward to coming back, and it's been a good 3-4 days so far.
As you said, you've been back on the training field with Steve and Tom for the past few days. Bring back happy memories, I'm sure.
Of course, yeah. It's obviously a different situation, but coming back here I felt comfortable coming back, which sort of helps us get straight into the work. So Monday we were straight on the training field. Like I said, it felt natural. Working with obviously Tom and Steve, it's a brilliant coaching unit. I look forward to the coming months.
And you've enjoyed working with the players on the grass with Steve and Tom. We saw today you've done some stuff with the defensive unit. Obviously, you have experience in that field as a player and as a coach.
Yeah, I think obviously the playing history is the history. But obviously with the coaching, been doing it quite a while now, so it's something that trying to give back that knowledge and help them, aid them in their progression as well, and develop them as a team and as a unit. And if we can do that, then that'd be beneficial to all of us.
And it must be helpful having players like Sean Morrison, Joe Rawls, who were here when you played at the club, to pass their knowledge as well onto the younger players like the Mark McGuinness's, Tom Sang, Mark Harris.
Any kind of experience that you have, you can give back to the sort of the younger players. They're all a good group. They want to learn. They want to develop and get better. So long may that continue. And if there's anything that we can do to aid them and facilitate them doing well, that's what we're here to do.
And after a week on the grass, you must just be looking forward to getting up to Preston on Saturday and getting that first game in.
Yeah, of course. I think we just keep ticking along, and the momentum's swung. Obviously, Steve and Tom have done really well in previously, and then we can take that into this week, which we have on the grass, and travel up the road and go and get a result there.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Break here for Cardiff. Come flying out the box. Wilson finds Murphy. Behind him, Murphy on his left foot though. Goal! It's Josh Murphy, and it's another brilliant start to a second half.
To Thompson, oh that's an excellent ball. What to do, still picking up. Oh, gets past Alexander. Chopra, second of the night. Collinson is score one. Goal number 21 of the season, Michael Chopra, playing again by
as well to use his body and get away with it. Cardiff can break in numbers here. Wilson's in space. Moore uses Ojo. Ojo still going on his right foot. Ojo! 1-0 to the Bluebirds. What a goal that was.
Ruthless in transition, Cardiff. Starts with Joe Rawls in his own area. Reads the ball forward. It's a good brave header, as you said, Mark. And then from then on, it's just crisp from Cardiff.
Battles his way forward, he's going forward, he could score here, he does score! What a goal from Kenneth O'Hare, 2-0.
It's an exceptional piece of individual skill from Kenneth O'Hare, absolutely remarkable from the young man, picks up the ball on halfway, back to 3 defenders. He backs his own strength, his own pace and his own ability, and just bulldozes his way through 2 challenges in the midfield area, and then has all the composure in the world to bear down on goal, draw the keeper and lift the ball delicately up and over.
Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Well, shooting opportunity. Oh, it's brilliant. Morrison, goal! Good afternoon, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Welcome to Matchday Live for live coverage of the Bluebirds' trip to Deepdale to take on a Preston North End similarly struggling at the wrong end of the table compared with pre-season expectations for these 2 teams. This has historically been a difficult destination for the Bluebirds over the years. No doubt the weather this afternoon will be no different this afternoon. However, they do arrive this time around in relatively good form in terms of recent visits. One back-to-back at Deepdale in the last 2 seasons. It's been a while since we've been able to say that. There's the Preston team then on the screen in front of you. Cardiff-born Andrew Hughes makes up a back 3. No place for Ben Whiteman this afternoon. He's suspended after collecting 5 yellow cards. There is a place though for former Bluebird Greg Cunningham, who comes in for Josh Earl in the left wing-back position, and it's a strike pairing this afternoon of Emil Rees-Jacobsen and Sean Maguire, the former 5. It's all changed for Cardiff City in Steve Morrison's first game in charge properly. Changazimba comes in to deputise for his championship debut in place of Kiefer Moore, who's picked up a knock on Welsh duty. There's also places in an exciting, youthful front 3 for both Isaac Davis and Ruben Colwell. No Joe Rolls this afternoon. He's picked up an illness, not COVID related, thankfully to say, but no place for him in the central midfield. So it's that man Marlon Pack who wears the captain's armband alongside Will Volks in the middle of the park this afternoon. A wet and grey and dreary afternoon here in Lancashire. I mentioned something. It's not usually a happy hunting ground for Bluebirds.